benchmarking, because unless we have an idea of where we stand in the world, we've got nothing to measure against. So benchmarking is essentially measuring yourself against the best, and there's various ways of doing this in a globalized world. We're all in the big world now with social media, so it's very important we know how to see ourselves and how the rest of the world sees us. How do we do this? Well, we look at various what's called indexes, the league tables. Everybody likes to be top of the league. And there's brand barometers. I know the guys in Sweden have looked at the barometer in the past. I think I've seen something up there. It's been a project where they produced some sort of regional brand barometer. There's magazines and social media. Magazines, it's great to get in magazines, but which ones are the best ones to choose and to be seen in? One of the best ones we found, especially which would be slightly off the wall, which would suit this project, is this one called Monocle. They tend to deal with slightly different type of holidays. They have various league, they have their own league tables. They look at the larger cities, but they also like to have smaller stories, little things that the intellectual traveller would like to go. Somewhere slightly different, so Croatia, Romania, they would love something like this. So it would be a good idea to try and put something together and send something to the Monaco people, because this is sold at pretty well every airport in the world, and you can get a subscription. It tends to be better than the Condé Nast Traveller and all those travel magazines, because they just have going for your average traveller. If you want something a bit different, you go for something like that. Magazines done? Right. We've already said why they're important. So how do we sort out the most useful? Well, one of the ways is by going to people like Simon Hanholt. He's probably the leading place brand practitioner in the world. He even got a Nobel Prize for economics on essentially place branding, country branding. He's the first to mention this idea of a good place, not a tourism place, not economic place, but what he terms as this good, the good factor. He came up with this idea a couple of years ago, along with his colleague, what's his name? Dr. Robert Govers. They came up with this idea to create this index for good countries, countries that are doing good things in the world, that are not necessarily making the best things, not necessarily, but they're essentially seen as a nice people, great people to get on with, and just all right, you know, they do whatever is good in the world. They have 7 series of categories in which they rank, and they rank from, I think it's 1 to about 100. Health and well-being, I'll let read a lot. His idea is not about being the best or bestest, it's about being the goodest. And Not's idea is that about being good in the world, if the world's good to each other, and they sort of collaborate with each other, perhaps countries that don't get on, actually collaborate, you're going to have a good world. He's even created this good party. Anybody in the world can subscribe to it. It's not a political party, it's just this idea of people wanting to do good in the world. So I'm a member of the good party, so I like what he does. The winners are, first, there are 3 high-grade countries in the top 7, in the 7. Spain comes number 1 in the good index for health and well-being, which is quite surprising. Well, it wasn't me. We've got Belgium in there, we've got Denmark, United Kingdom and Sweden. So Highbury's pretty well represented country-wise in the top, what's that, top 12 of health and well-being. Belgium comes through. Science and technology. We're good at science and technology. Along with, believe it or not, Cyprus. So a lady's even. So that's a real shock to me. Sweden's in there, but that's the rest of our game. I'll give you all these slides so you can see them. You can go to the index anyway and see it for yourself. Culture. Number 1, Belgium. So Belgium's good at culture. They have lots of festivals, they make great beer, and they've got a lot of good cultural activities. So it's a good index, they're good guys in culture. There we are, there's the proof. There we are, number 1. And we're number 12. Where's it? Denmark? Guys, you're number 9. You're good guys. And then international peace and security. This obviously was before everything went wrong. So it just goes to show that these indexes, no matter how new, it'd be good to actually sort of look at the political underlying culture to see if things have changed since they measured them.
International peace.
International
peace and security.
I don't.
Apparently, terrorist attacks
on the website,
20 years.
I'm wondering how have they measured this, and they said they got various data sets from around the world, which they measure these things from, and then they put them into this computer.
And they're made by the national authorities.
No. This is made by this group of people, the international place branders. They're non-political.
How can Jordan be?
Germany, number 1 world order.
That is true.
This is what they wanted. They got it now. But they're good. They're good guys now. They're not the bad guys. So.
Unless they start listening.
So we got Germany, Austria, Netherlands, Ireland, Denmark, Sweden, United Kingdom. Right. We're good guys at world order. We only go and shoot people when it's necessary.
We can't give it time to qualify.
Okay, planet and climate. Iceland comes up as number 1. So there we go. Sweden's very high up on the planet and the climate, being good guys. All the Nordic countries are pretty good at that. I think that's pretty well accepted. Prosperity and equality, Ireland. They prosper, they spread out equally, and they enjoy life. Like in Ireland, I don't know if you've ever been to Ireland. They have this really weird sense of things. Like we asked him how far this town was. This little guy walking down the road. He said, "Well, you can go 2 miles that way, or you can go 15 miles that way." They give you the both options. For them, they don't care if you want to take go 15 miles, you go 2 hours. It's up to you. The Irish are very relaxed, very chilled out people. Really nice, friendly people. And that's it. Prosperity, equality. There goes Switzerland. We expected Switzerland to be up there. Finland, Sweden, Belgium. Most of you guys are doing good. You're doing well. So the overall ranking. Who is number 1 in the world of being good, or the goodest? Who are the nice guys of this world? Any guesses? The best nice guys. Ireland. So there we go. The Irish are seen as the goodest country in the world. Whether we like it or not, this is what these guys come up with. It's sort of a bit of fun. But it can have good PR. These league tables can give you good PR stories. This one's a little bit more the country brand index by Future Brand. Future Brand are a brand and measurement company. Now this is a lot more serious type of index for your country. They actually now, for the first time this year, started rating countries as brands. And out of, I think it's 72 countries they've measured, they only measured 22 of them as brands. And they've got various criteria that they've actually used that. This is what it looks like. I can send you a copy. This is how they've associated all the various factors of their measurements. They've got a value system, political freedom, environmental standards, tolerance, quality of life, health and education, standard of living, safety and security, and would like to live or study there, that's a big one. Business potential, good for business, advanced technology, good infrastructure, and they have an experience section as well, help people experience historical points of interest, heritage and culture, natural beauty, and for us, tourism. So they actually measure tourism, value for money, range of attractions, resorts and lodging options, would like to visit for a vacation, and food, which is pretty standard stuff. And then they've got this one called Made In, the associations with Made In. So if something's made somewhere and it's good, you wouldn't mind going there because you associate it with quality. So I've never been to Sweden, but I'm going to because I want to buy a new Volvo. So Sweden, to me, you make a great car, Volvo. So it's
go in November and then you can pick us up. Yeah.
I will get talked about picking 3 Swedish women up.
You better take a wife with you.
So anyway, this is how the association. This is where it says, 75 countries are included in the survey. And this is where they state not all countries are associated called brands. As far as this is the first time they've actually said this. Previous years they've never really looked at it, they just called everybody a brand. But they wanted to start differentiating because there is this thing, especially in the branding circles, you talk about a company and you refer to it as a brand. Well, I've always argued with that. You have to earn your reputation of being a brand. Just because you've got a logo doesn't mean you're a brand. So you have to earn that status. So these guys have actually backed up what I've always been thinking, that, you know, possibly only 22 of the countries in the world are seen as brands. Those that they see are Japan, Switzerland, Germany, Sweden, Canada, Norway, United States, Australia, Denmark, Austria, New Zealand, United Kingdom, Finland, Singapore, Iceland, Netherlands, France, Italy, United Emirates and South Korea are established brands. That's what they think of them. That's the top 20 countries in the world on the future brand status. So, you know, we're doing okay. And in Europe, we have 3 country brands in Europe according to Future Brand. But the interesting thing that Belgium are still doing really well as well. One thing I like about this are these spider graphs, which I think we could use as part of our sort of branding process tools, because they're a very good graphic way of showing you lots of information quickly and very simply. So these are the blue area is Europe, and just for an example, the green area is Switzerland and what is strong in. So you can actually see the various sectors.
What does 81% awareness mean? Itself of the,
What's that?
just about the Swiss flag.
Just about the Swiss flag. That means that it's achieved an awareness value overall of 81% of people being aware of it. So not everybody is aware of when you ask them questions in Switzerland. You go to Africa, it's Switzerland. This one I thought, because Sweden are here and they had this particular section on Sweden, I thought it'd be good to show the different ways of illustrating the information, the nice way of showing all the different words associated with the country, which you do in the branding process. So it's all about, you know, various ways of showing sort of statements and facts. So you have a great quality of life, you have a high value system. Tourism is not so high as your value system and quality of life, and your heritage and culture are the same as the tourism. So that shows that is really does relate that, you know.
But also on the spider map, is that valid for money? That
What's that?
on the spider map, on the left-hand side spider map, does that say value for money, which is pretty
Yes,
big?
yes.
The lowest score.
That means that you're very expensive. The way the world sees Sweden is an expensive place. I know we get that. The reason why, probably one of the reasons we've never been to Sweden is because we were always, they had the perception that it's an expensive country, where it might not be like that, but the perception out there in the world is that Sweden's bloody expensive to go to. But our son went to Stockholm for 65 euros, returned to London. And he said that, and you get a room in a hotel for 80, 90 euros. So he's proved my perception to be wrong, because it's not that expensive. But the world, this is what the world sees, not just me.
Well, if you want to get drunk every night, it's very expensive.
It's very, yeah, that's the thing. Most British guys go to all the Eastern Bloc countries because it's very, very cheap for beer and stuff like that. So it's good really to show you where the momentum's coming from. So this is another tool we can use to just show where it comes from, the momentum of the country and how it's developing really well. And it also shows you what they're expert at. So you guys are very good at technology here, as opposed to the good country index. In the real world, you are good. You're very professional.
I just have to tell you that the Absolute vodka bottle is produced in Tranemo municipality.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're part of that.
So you're a part of this Swedish whole picture. But you need to start telling people this.
We do, you know how.
Yeah, we know. But these guys in Future Brand need to know. So, apparently in England now, that one is being referred to as IKEA. Even on all their advertising on TV now, it's pronounced IKEA. Now, on to the barometers, which is another way of the measurement systems. The most well-known one is Saffron. Saffron are leading brand consultants in the world. Everybody likes to have their measurement systems for their own various values. Now, they're not measuring countries, they're valuing cities, which is getting closer to home. They have a European City Brands Barometer, and now they were asked, because the European City Brands Barometer was interesting, they were asked to do a World City Brand Barometer. Their measurement criteria is their brand utilisation, they measure the top four, they see the challengers, the ones to watch, and then they see the underperformers. That analysis is based on two components, a city's asset strength and a city's brand strength. So the combination of both of those is referred to as brand utilisation. So the first one, this is how the assets are scored, which is pretty good for this project, because I think we have not bad, pretty good assets. And then you have a buzz score. Buzz School's a new thing. It's because of media recognition, social media. You get a social media buzz around the world, and if people are talking about you, your buzz score is very high, and the conversational value. So this is the actual world barometer and how it is displayed. You've got your pinky, I don't know, funny colour. It's the top floor. Los Angeles is the top city in the world, as far as Saffron's concerned, when it comes to asset strength and people talking about it. Because let's face it, everybody talks about LA, Los Angeles. Well, in England it's always stars, movie stars talking about Los Angeles, and New York, London and Paris come in that top four. And then they've got challengers, ones to watch. And I think one of the ones that were up and coming on that I recognised was actually, I think it was Brussels, one of the Belgian cities is actually getting up there as well now. So, now, did you know that? Did you know there's a World City Mayor on a monthly basis? You know, if you've got a city, your guy can be the top dog.
The mayor, yes, I think the mayor of Ghent, the city of Ghent, he was in the running for being selected the best mayor of the world.
Okay, well we got
We ended second.
last. This is the city mayors running the World Cities organisation. The current mayor of the month that was measured was 2015 is the South Korean guy, but a year ago.
Yeah,
We're
that's
right.
him. That's him.
That's why I didn't interrupt
Yeah.
you.
We know him, he's a very funny guy.
So, but the fact that you knew about this is very good PR for an area. So if your councils can get on this World City Mayor organisation, you can get very, very good PR. It's good for tourism. You've got a good guy in charge, people think it's a nice place to go.
But where is that displayed, this World Mayor?
On the worldcitymayor.com website.
How many visitors does that have?
I haven't asked them.
They talk about it.
Probably
We
10.
see articles in newspapers about it.
I think there's 50 mayors and 50 people look at it at least. But I just thought it was interesting to show these things. When you've got perceptions, how can we use this to your advantage? At the moment, the British Visit Britain, the national tourism industry, is doing a Great Names for Great Britain. They spent 1.6 million creating a website in China, which looks like that. And the Chinese have this idea of calling something by a pet name. So what they did, they had like 101 different British destinations on this website that the Chinese could vote for, and they had a selections of names to call them. So that the Chinese came up with all sorts of names to call British things. And it's just a case of getting the Chinese involved and feel that we're friendly people and that they're welcome to come to the country by making them sort of, we want them to participate in our, go further than London. And so if they feel familiar with friendly names, and we're not worried about what they call it, we just want them there, we want their money, it's great. So instead of letting the Expo come to you, we've gone to them. That's Bristol. You can see that this site's got 532,000 fans, so that's the amount of people are looking at that. That's pretty good. One of the ways that the British have managed to help this project is to change their visa policy, because we're not part of the Schengen Agreement, which means people can't just come into Europe and then come to the UK. So they've changed they've helped it. So policy changes by politicians are a useful way of helping you gain status in the world. They realised there was a need to get these guys in quickly, because the reasons for that, the Chinese spend 4 times more than any other tourist. literally they've got 4 times more in their pocket than they want to spend it. So we're gunning for the Chinese big time. Every 22 Chinese tourists supports another job in the economy. So we want as many Chinese as possible because it creates jobs. And we want to increase the Chinese spend currently from £500 million to, we want to double that by 2020 through things like spending 1.6 million on this campaign. And they think they're going to do it. These are just some ideas. Knightsbridge, as you see it's called, the Chinese call it now Street of the Rich. I think you can see why. In London, there's another one, Carnaby Street, and they say, remembering the old day street. Shoreditch is an up-and-coming little yuppie area, and they call it Novelty Seeker area. So it's just having fun with the words where they are. Savile Row is where they make all the suits in England. They call it Tall, Rich, Handsome Street. The Shard, the big pointy building, the Chinese refer to as the London Cone. So it's just making them feel at home, sort of, you know. Now, the French actually beat the Chinese, beat the English too. This year, the Tien's company had a 20-year celebration. I don't know if anybody's heard about this, but through the perceptions of Paris and Cannes being a good place in China, imagine a tourist, a guy from a company in China ringing your tourist office up and says, I want 6,500 people to come to your place in 6 months' time. Could you go? I don't think so. So it's a big challenge when you see how many, 84 flights, 79 hotels, and only 4 and 5 stars. Wouldn't have rubbish. They reserve between Cannes and Monaco and Paris. The amount of rooms, just under 5,000 rooms in the hotels.
Sorry.
It's a Chinese company. But just the logistics of this, the French have been able to pull it off. So we have to take their hats off to them. But I don't think many countries could have done anything like this. They had a huge convention, just to show you the idea, the scale of it all. And this is the company from China. These are their happy people in France having a great time. That's just to give you an idea of the scale, how many people were there. Imagine this is a tourist visit, one visit. And they created the world's largest English phrase in the Guinness World Record books now. The Chinese have it by saying, Tien's dream is nice in the Côte d'Azur. It's like Nice, but nice, it's very new words. It's Nice, nice in the Côte d'Azur. So that, by not only combining the tourist visit, they've also created great PR for the Chinese company, the French tourism, France as a whole, that they can deal with something like this. It's great, what a story. I still can't imagine, the French guys saying, we want to book a few hotels. Imagine the travel agency. How many, sir? Do you want a booking of 30? Like, thousands. It's just incredible. Right, now this is what we've talked about before. Using perceptions instead of reality for a place and where it sits in the world and its branding. Stockholm. Julian Stubbs is the English guy who was a brand consultant that was managing the project. He actually has been living in Sweden for 26, 30 years, so he knows Sweden very well. He's well respected in the Swedish branding circles. So they thought he was the guy to do the job. This is what he came up with. which we all know is a perception, really. It's not the truth. There is no country of Scandinavia. No, this is an idea, it's an area. But it's a little bit, as he said, Stockholm, the capital of Scandinavia, is bold, simple, and a little bit provocative, because the neighbouring countries think, why didn't I think of that? I could be capital of Scandinavia, but those, you know, those nice Swedish sort of right. One of the reasons he wanted to sort of come up with this idea was, previously, Stockholm was seen as the Venice of the North, which in Stubbs's view, it was a second-class idea. Why be something of something? In fact, there's, in Wikipedia, these are all the countries classed as the Venice of the North. Why be second to any of them? Stockholm wanted to be number one at something. So that was the vision he put, and he even created a book, Wish You Were Here, which goes through the whole branding process, everything about what they did, and there's the sort of process that they did to get Stockholm to be known now as the capital of Scandinavia, which is a very, very successful branding campaign. It's still a perception though, it's not. But this is where perception and reality are blended, which is quite unusual. It doesn't often happen. So this is where, but the trouble is sometimes you get the opposite, where somebody's perceptions and somebody's reality, which I think is always showing something, you know, with their guys, what they expect and what they actually have is different. And in branding terms, that leads to a gap. In branding, it leads to a brand gap. Most people's perceptions of the world, the English only fish and chips and roast beef. The French even call us roast beefs. Okay? But the fact is now in England you can get any food you want, and the most eaten food in England now is curry. Not fish and chips, it's curry. So unless you know about that and have the perception, you're not seeing the real view of the place. Just to get our own back, we call the French frogs, or frogs' legs, because of our perception that they like to eat frogs' legs. But in fact, the truth is totally wrong, because they have such a diverse sort of food diet, and it's wonderful food in France. But the average guy that works in a factory in England would be quite derogative and call them frogs and all they eat frogs and. But we have to go there to find out. Now this is our job, to show that we show the real things and not just the story of fairy tale. There is ideas that you have a brand story, but the brand story should be about reality, not about Jolly Green Giant coming down 100 years ago and rank second in town and giving it all this. That's not the story. The story is what's happening now. And you've got to communicate that. This is an interesting one. Last month they had a World Institute Place Branding Conference in Poland. I wasn't lucky enough to go, but I received all the information. And this was one of the lectures they came up with. The reason why they came up with the Friedman belt case is because you have this region which is going to link, a quicker link through, basically from Germany up to Sweden. You've got the Great Belt and you've got Orson, but you've got, this is going to be a new one. It's going to save people hours in traffic. It's going to be two-lane motor car access and a two-way train access as well. It's about 18 kilometres or something. It's really quite a magnificent exercise, engineering-wise. Initially, there was this problem. The Danes' interest is about tourism and nature, and the Germans and Swedes said, well, we just want to get there. You know? So there was a bit of a clash. There was this sort of brand gap, this clash, this communications gap going on about what it was ready for. So they had this is where reality conflicted with perceptions. But in the end, they had a proper consultation process, proper communication, and everybody associated the project with connections. And tourism and nature wasn't such an important part, but the connections of what was. And they'd done a cross-border treaty now for this project, so it's been really quite an interesting project. So as long as, before you start any project, make sure you have a core understanding of what you want to say before putting things out there. And then you won't get this brand gap, you won't get this misperception of what you're trying to do, because as soon as somebody gets a negative aspect of what you're trying to do, they will try and close the project down. So make sure the research is done right, and you have this core idea. It's a bit like our little discussion earlier on about the video. You know, we need to get this core idea right before we actually tell the world about it.